Good morning, everybody.
There we are. Hello.
Good afternoon to my friends in Europe. I hope you're doing well. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. Today, welcome to the Ticker Highlight Show. We're here every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time to discuss one ticker and one ticker alone, the one that we find really interesting for the week. Now, reminder, we have changed up things a little bit. So this is the first time you're going to be seeing this stock and what we think of it. Then we're going to give you analysis throughout the week, including a breakdown of the trade as a whole once start to finish. So it's a change up, but the goal here is to help you become a better trader and understand how and why we think, and then what we do going forward. This week's stock is run by someone who is tightly entwined with the current administration. It went over the course of a very swift period of time from Trump election to the end of the year. Had one of the best rallies that we've seen in quite some time. But since December, it has been a slow decline. And yes, that's right, folks. We're talking about Tesla, the Doge master himself, Elon Musk and company, which maybe is the first point that when you think of Tesla, it's no longer become, one of the positives and negatives around it, you could argue, is it's no longer become just Tesla, right? It's not just, oh, wow, look at those sweet cars and look at that valuation. Now there seems to be kind of this secondary piece to it in terms of how it's intertwined with the current administration that tends to create headlines that for a company shouldn't even be there, right? And so I think it's important to maybe throw out a lot of the noise that you'll hear out and get back to where is Tesla as a company and what are the cool things they're doing and what are some of the silly things they're doing. And long term, and when I say long term, if you like Tesla, what's going on now shouldn't really, from a government side, shouldn't really affect a lot of your decision making. So with Tesla, obviously, you're always betting on the future in that company. Obviously, they're the only profitable electric car company out there that I've seen. But they still have issues, right? You look at the fundamentals here with Tesla, and you're talking a 165 PE and a $1 trillion valuation. Now, that said, when you look at what they're doing with the cyber taxi and with robotics and everything along those lines, this is a company that still may be in that hockey stick mode. We don't know how far what they're doing is gonna take us, but the downside is that robo taxis. There's 4 other companies doing it. The robot Optimus, we don't have a full appreciation of what that could possibly do. Obviously, they're heavily involved with AI and within the automobile and with self-driving. But again, there are other companies that are on the self-driving formula. So just because they're investing in the future and they're doing cool things doesn't mean they're going to be the clear winner, right? Apple, think about it this way, right? Apple was doing really cool things in 1985 and then went into the abyss from 1987 to about 1999.
It was a long, dark period.
Right. So that is where you are with this. You're at, because Apple went from one of the most valuable companies in the world to, are they going to be in business, to the most valuable company in the world again. And Tesla is, that is your risk with this company. Especially, just given. So looking at the chart, you've got a lot that says maybe we're getting near taking a shot. You could argue a double bottom test here. I think it's going to be important for Tesla to want to close above the low from the 11th. And then also these lows kind of line up with this little beginning of the gap. You could argue that the election gap could bring it all the way down to 280. I think that would be pretty aggressive. But near term, I think it's at a spot where you could argue that it's worth taking a shot. The last time it got to its 150-day moving average, it's currently below its 100. It hasn't been below the 200-day moving average since April of 2024. So it hasn't gotten there in a year. That would be your real downside if this thing is going to not turn around. But I got to tell you, at this point, with the dip that we've gotten here, probably worth taking a shot at the stock in the next day or two. So that's what I'm saying. Andrew, what are you seeing from a volatility component? And we can just use my screen so we don't have to jump back and forth.
Okay. Today vol's up a little bit. I think Tesla already had a pretty good sized move, but if I'm not mistaken, the stock just dropped 10% in 2 days.
Yeah,
maybe
nice drop.
something like that.
Well, here is 10-day realized volatility, the blue line.
Like it was just trading like 350, right? And gap to 360 on Wednesday. And I actually had some calls in here somewhere in capital gains. I had actually call calendars, and I closed the short calls and I bought some put spreads and just turned it into a strangle because I think the vol's too low. It's like only 50 vol and it's moving 10% in 2 days. That's crazy. So, 10% move is 160 volatility. So,
yeah, well, looking at that, over the last 10 days,
yeah,
it's moved more than what they're charging you for 30-day volatility.
yeah.
And then if you want to look at a number we like to look at called average true range, this is how much Tesla is moving on a daily basis. So this is kind of a number to tell you how hard is it to hold premium throughout the day, right? Are you getting wild moves? And ATR, Tesla's moving $17 a day over the last 10 days. And believe it or not, that's down from where it was, but that's still relatively high. Yeah. So when you consider back in August and July, that number was more like 9. So you're getting more movement, a decent amount more movement than Tesla's used to. So yes, I would argue 100% this looks like a premium buy. Now, Hans, what if you were long the stock? What if I was looking to kind of create some income around this? What are some different ideas? How would you approach Tesla here?
By the way, Mark, I worked in an Apple store in the summer of 1991, and I think I sold like one Mac that whole summer. So that might have been a sign that they were in trouble. It wasn't pretty at that point. The clones were just killing them, right? Apple was too closed. Anyway, we know the story. Yeah. So Tesla, I mean, look, I don't know. This is a stock. How do you really assign any kind of value to it? It's all over the place. And Elon's even come out and said, it's like, you have to think of this company as autonomy and robotics. And so, what do you do with it? It's moonshots and dreams, and it's Elon. It's his personality. So, from the standpoint of owning this thing, I think, like Andrew said, I think that the vol's a little bit on the low side. I mean, if you had to, you could kind of go out. I think the market's maybe in a bit of a struggle mode right now, so you could probably take advantage of selling some upside calls against that holding, play the range a little bit. I'm not loving what I'm seeing, because I agree. I think this thing could kind of snap back quite easily. What I'd be looking at, if you don't have a position, if I may, is I'm starting to see that downside skew kick up a little bit. So puts, and when we talk about skew, it's kind of the relative puts to call values from a pricing standpoint. We're starting to see those puts pop up a little higher to levels we haven't seen since October. So from that perspective, I think I like your level at 280. I was looking at that exact same level, thinking we could get down around there. So I'd be looking at maybe potentially from an income trader standpoint, you could knock out that April 295 put, meaning selling that put, maybe grab around, I don't know where it is now because it's moving around. Maybe you could grab
$12.
about $12 for that. So you're looking at maybe 4 to 4.5% for that on risk, based on your risk of owning Tesla below 295. And I kind of like that. That's sort of like 30% annualized if we were sort of to do the math there. It's not too bad. I'd almost rather wait for one more down day in order to sell that out, because I think the market is looking maybe a little bit shaky overall. But that's kind of the income play that I'd be looking at. I don't mind getting into this thing. We hit 470, down around 280, 290. I think it's definitely worth a shot for all the magic that Elon brings and his positioning within the administration.
I like it. Now on to our trade. Now, one of the things we liked about it, I think that makes the April trade makes a lot of sense from an income perspective, especially if you consider that I think once things calm down, volatility will fall. But near term, we could be. I'm with Andrew. I think, and Hans. I think we're kind of due for a bounce. This thing was, to Andrew's point, this thing was $355 on the 21st. That was the open on Friday. And on the 19th, so we're talking last Wednesday, Tesla it hit a high of $367. Things moving $17 a day. So this is one of the few stocks where you, with vol this low and how much it's moving, that a out of the money call, short dated, makes a lot of sense. Just trying to catch a little bottom. So the trade I'd be looking to do would be to buy with us dipping today, I'm putting in a $5 bid for the March 7th 350 call. So that is the March 7th 350 call that I'd be looking to buy, and I want to pay $5 for it. So that is, and I'm going to drop it in the portfolio right now. I'll pay $5.
Drop it into. Do you want some dropping into the portfolio music? Drop it into.
Do I have a choice?
The portfolio music. I mean, you know. I would say your stop loss is 350. That's what I would do.
Yeah, so like in between 3 and 350, something like that. Yeah. All right. So there it is in the portfolio. You can see it right there. And that is our analysis. Little update. So on our free portfolio so far, Microsoft, we did manage to eke out $1. AMD, we had a real opportunity to sell this for like a 20-25% profit. We were hoping for a little bit more of a lift because you can see AMD did get up to on the
it was
20th as
definitely,
high as 160.
yeah, you made some money.
We should have made some real decent money on that, and I got a little greedy. It's a lesson that you have to be willing to take on a short-term trade. So that one is not gone, has not been managed the way I would have liked. And then now we have this trade. But so far we've got 2 for 2, and there's still hope on AMD. It's got another 2 weeks to go. All right.
Yes, you have to wait for NVIDIA earnings and everybody can feel good again. Just right now,
There you
it's a lack of
go.
news. Just a lack of news.
All right, everybody. So there you have it. That is your ticker highlight show. We hope you have a great trading week and a great trading day. So for our Hans J. Albrecht, our Imperial Lord of Income, and of course Andrew Giovinazzi, the Viking of Volatility, I'm Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. And I hope you guys have a great day. Have a good one. Bye.
Take care, everybody.